Here's what nobody says out loud about using AI. It feels like progress when nothing has actually changed. You're saving time, things are moving faster for sure, but the ceiling is the same. Same bottleneck, same dependency on you being present, same conversation about whether to hire. But most solo experts are running one or two layers of AI delegation. Now, the 5 layer system that I'm going to be breaking down today shows you the full picture and which layer would actually move the needle in your specific business right now. By the way, if we haven't met yet, I'm Hazel June and I work with online education businesses, designing online programs, building AI resources, and helping clients use AI. I've worked with the top online programs in the space that generate over 7 figures per year, coached hundreds of business owners, and trained thousands of people on program design and leveraging AI. Most solo experts who've been using AI for more than a few months hit this wall. They're using it, it is helping for sure, but structurally, nothing has really changed. It's the same bottleneck, same dependency, same ceiling, just with faster first drafts. And if you don't understand why that happens, you'll spend the next year doing the same thing and wondering why the ceiling hasn't moved. The problem isn't time, really, it's dependency. If the business runs on you, your energy, your hours, your presence, every deliverable goes through you. Every client needs you. If you remove yourself from the equation, even for a week, the output stops. AI that saves time doesn't really change that because you're still going to be the bottleneck. You're just a faster one. Now, here's the thing most people are using AI as a tool. You prompt it, it responds, you move on. And that's not wrong, but it's one dimensional. An AI tool makes you faster. An AI system, on the other hand, runs a function. You review the output, the function continues without you. And so, what really changes the structure is what we call operational leverage. And that's the ability to produce more output without proportionally more of your input. That means more clients served, more content published, more programs running without requiring more of your hours or your presence to make it happen. The shift, which is from tool to system, from using AI to delegating to AI, is the difference the AI delegation system is built around. And it comes to this. You stay as the CEO, the chief everything officer, you make the calls, AI runs the departments, 5 layers, 5 specific AI hires, and each one removes a different dependency, a different reason your business still requires you to be present. Let me walk you through all 5. Okay, the first one, the consistency layer. I'm starting here because if you skip this layer and go straight to the flashier ones, you don't build faster, you scale garbage. Volume without consistency is scaled mediocrity. Speed without consistency is faster mistakes. So, what you want to do is fix this first. Now, the consistency layer, aka the intern, replaces your bad days. What this layer means is that AI delivers the same quality output at 3 a.m. on a depleted Tuesday as it does at 10 a.m. on a well slept Monday. Now, that's something that we can't do. You don't, I don't, certainly. No human does. Human consistency is expensive to maintain. It requires sleep, low cortisol, no sick kids, no deadline collision, no rough week, no other responsibilities. Every variable in your personal life introduces variability in your output as well. And that's not a character flaw, it's just the cost of being human. Now, for solo experts, this is especially brutal because there's no team to absorb your variable bad days. When you're running at 60%, the deliver still has to go out. Your client doesn't know you were at 60%. Here's a real example. I built an AI brief for a client's business owner community. It's a structured Claude workflow that researches, filters, and formats a weekly AI update. It's tracking what's actually moving in the space, cut down to 2 or 3 things that are genuinely relevant to the business. My client's community gets this every week on time to spec. And here's the thing, it doesn't matter what kind of week I had. It doesn't matter if I'm behind on three other things or if my brain is completely fried. The skill still runs the same function. I review the output and the brief goes out at the same quality it always does. That is consistency. It's not just AI doing the task faster, it's AI removing dependency on my state of mind to do it well. Now, the AI hire that addresses the consistency layer is what we call the intern. It follows instructions exactly. It never has a bad day, never burns out, and it doesn't deliver beyond what's asked. It delivers exactly what's asked every single time. Okay, on to the next layer, which is the time layer. And this is the one everyone knows about. And if it's the only layer you've built, you've got a foundation for a ceiling. Now, quick distinction before I go further. Consistency and time, they're not the same layer. Consistency means quality doesn't depend on your state of mind. Time means output doesn't depend on your hours. A system can save you time and still produce inconsistent results. A system can be rock solid consistent and still be slow. They solve different problems. Now, the time layer, aka the assistant, replaces your hours. For example, I was building a training resource for a client. I've built 9 infographics, 8 PDF guides, meaning 17 assets using Gemini and Notebook LM, structured prompts, source documents fed in, specific output formats. I built all 17 in roughly 2 hours. The manual version of that, even with a design hire, would have taken days, plus coordination overhead, plus revision cycles, plus the back and forth on brand standards. 2 hours, 17 assets, one person. That's what it took. Now, for this particular layer, the AI hire is the assistant. You give it a task, whether that's researching something, synthesizing something, turning specific notes into a structured client deliverable, and what would have taken you a full afternoon will take an hour. Now, the AI hire for the time layer is what we call the assistant. You're still directing, but you're not executing. Now, the ceiling with time is this: the AI assistant multiplies your hours, but it still requires your presence. You're still the ceiling on volume. And that's the next layer we're going to address. All right, now this specific layer changes the math completely. And if you're answering volume problems with headcount decisions, you're solving for the wrong thing. Most solo experts hit a volume ceiling and assume the answer is to hire, bring someone on, add a team member, and then spend the next several months managing that person and absorbing all the overhead that comes with a team you didn't really want to manage. Now, the department, aka the hire behind the capacity layer, replaces the team you really don't want to hire and manage. For example, I built a full AI content system for my own business. It's not a tool, it's a system. It mines data sources for trends and audience signals. It takes the raw material and then generate content ideas filtered through my positioning. It drafts copy in my voice, and the whole pipeline runs from research to ready for review, which means I show up to review, I approve what's good, I redirect what's not, but I'm not writing from scratch. I'm not managing the whole workflow. I'm acting as an editor in chief for a content operation that would have required a full team to run manually. But instead of a full team, I have a bunch of AI employees doing the thing. I have Yuri, my YouTube strategist. I have Nash, my newsletter strategist. I have Ty, who's responsible for topics and hooks. I have Chris, who's responsible for scripting. I have an entire content creation team who's running that content creation workflow. Now, that's the department. It runs a volume you could never handle solo. Without hiring, no onboarding, no managing. You direct the output without really executing it. As you've probably guessed, the AI hire for the capacity layer is the department. It removes the ceiling on how much you can deliver which means you'll be able to serve more clients, you'll be able to publish more content, you'll be able to run multiple programs without adding your hours to make it happen. Okay, this is the layer that I'm super excited about. And this layer is what most people skip because they can't feel what it's costing them. The insights layer, aka the advisor, replaces your blind spots. For example, I built an AI advisory board in my business OS. I got I have 10 advisors built based on real world thinkers, each trained with a distinct worldview, different frameworks, different areas of expertise, different ways of challenging my assumptions. So when I'm facing a real decision like pricing or something else, or if I'm doing my end of week review, I run it past all 10. Not to outsource the thinking, but to give my thinking more surface area, to surface the angle that I'm missing because I'm too close to the problem. I also built an AI coach trained specifically to call out my own patterns when I'm making excuses, when I'm drifting into prep as avoidance, when I'm circling a decision instead of making one. It doesn't let me get away with the language I'd let myself use if I were only answering to myself. I also have my future self AI coach, which helps me get grounded on what really moves the needle in order for me to actually accomplish my goals and build the future version of myself. Now, that's the insights layer at work. Not AI producing output, but AI improving input. You're not moving faster, you're just thinking better. Now, as you can imagine, the AI hire for the insights layer is what we call the advisor. High level thinker, honest pushback, available on any time, on any decision without a waitlist or a retainer. Okay, the expertise layer. And this is the destination, and most people never get here. In fact, I'm still also working my way through the expertise layer. I have bits and pieces in place, but not the full spectrum. Here's why most people never get to this layer. It's not because it's hard, it's because they spend so much time optimizing layer one that they never look up. Now, the expertise layer, the specialist, replaces you. Each layer we've talked about so far makes you faster, makes you more consistent, makes you more capable, better informed. They're all valuable, but they all still require your presence in some form. Expertise is different. This is where AI becomes you when you're not in the room. Now, quick distinction before I go further. Insights and expertise are not the same. Both are easy to conflate and they're completely different. Insights means that AI brings outside perspectives in. It surfaces your blind spots, it challenges your assumptions and your thinking, it asks the questions you'd never think to ask yourself. That's the advisor. Expertise, on the other hand, which I'll get to next, means AI pushes your knowledge out. It deploys your IP without you being present. That is the specialist. One makes you a better thinker, the other makes your thinking work without you. Different hire, different function. For example, I built a knowledge base within my operating system. It's a structured, queryable repository of my frameworks, my thinking processes, my decision making logic. When I'm creating content, my AI references that base. When I'm making decisions, my AI pulls from how I've risen through similar problems before. My voice, my methodology, my standards, not some generic ones. And when I need to build a digital product like a course, an AI tool, an AI powered resource based on my own frameworks, my AI can build it from that knowledge base without me explaining it from scratch every single time because the IP is already there. The standards are already encoded. The specialists just have to deploy it. Now, this is the highest form of operational leverage. And like what I've mentioned earlier, I have bits and pieces in place, but not the whole ecosystem yet. So this is a layer that I'm actually actively building as well. Now, because this is the highest form of operational leverage, your revenue doesn't depend on your presence. Someone can get quality of your thinking, like the methodology, the frameworks, the application, without requiring you to be in the room delivering it. Now, most solo experts' IP lives entirely in their head. The specialist is what happens when you get it out. Now, here's the part most people miss, and it's what makes the AI delegation system actually different from most AI advice. The five layers are not five separate things to build, they're five lenses for evaluating what you've already built or what you're about to build. One well built AI system can address multiple layers at once. Let me run you through some examples from the video that I've mentioned. Now, let's take a look at that AI brief skill that I mentioned. I described it as a consistency example, and it is. The output is consistent regardless of my state, but it also saves me hours of research and synthesis every week. That is time, layer in action. And the act of building it forced me to articulate what relevant actually means for that audience, which also sharpened my own thinking on the AI landscape. That's insights. One skill, three layers, one build. Now let's talk about that content system I talked about. Capacity is the obvious one. It runs publishing volume that would have required a full content creation team. But it also runs consistently, regardless of what kind of week I'm having. That is consistency. And it's trained on my voice, my frameworks, my standards, not some generic defaults. That's the expertise layer. Again, one system, three different layers. Finally, the knowledge base example. Expertise is the destination, which is my IP deployed without my presence. But because it encodes my quality bar, every AI output it informs is more consistent. That's consistency. And because it handles the production work, it frees me up for higher leverage thinking. And that's the time layer baked in. One build, one system, three different layers. Do you now see the pattern? This is why the right question isn't what layer do I need? The right question is what AI system can I build that addresses the most layers at once? A system that touches one layer is functional. A system that touches three or more is compounding. That's what high ROI AI delegation looks like. Now, here's where most people stall, not because they don't understand the five layers, but because they see five different options and default back to the one they're already doing. Time, more task, faster, the one that they know. Now, the AI delegation system doesn't have a fixed sequence. The layers aren't a hierarchy. You don't have to complete one before moving to the next layer. The question isn't where do I start in general? The question is which layers are you already running and which ones are underserved? That means five layers, five ways your business can stop depending on you. So let's go through each of them. Consistency. Does your quality depend on your state of mind? Would your worst week show up in your deliverables? Time. Does your output depend on your hours? Are you still executing tasks that AI could run without you watching it? Capacity. Does your volume depend on your bandwidth? Are you hitting a ceiling you'd normally answer with a higher? Insights. Do your decisions depend on your blind spots? Are you making big calls without the honest pushback you'd pay a lot for? Finally, expertise. Does your revenue depend on your presence, or can your methodology run without you in the room? Answer those questions honestly, and I mean honestly, and you'll know where to start. Now, here's what I'll tell you from working through this in my own business. The underserved layers are almost never where people expect. Most people think they have a time problem. Usually, the real gap is capacity or expertise. The distance between where they are and the specialist is bigger than they realize because they've been managing interns instead of building toward the hire that actually matters. Five layers: the intern, the assistant, the department, the advisor, and the specialist. Now, most solo experts are running one or two layers, usually the consistency and time layers. Now, the operational leverage you're not capturing is in the layers that are still underserved. Now, if you want me to walk you through a business audit, like how to identify exactly which layers a specific business is underserving, what to look for, and why building the wrong system first is how people spend 6 months with AI and feel like nothing has moved. Let me know in the comments, and if there's enough interest, I'll make sure to record a video about it next. And if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and do that now. I publish a video every week on leveraging AI, productizing your IP, and building a business without a team. If that's the kind of thing you're working on, you'll want to be here for it. See you in the next video. Ciao.